was trying to set up my tripod to start this video and someone saw me and he brought me a flower. That was unexpected. Maybe it's better if I take this off. Why I moved abroad and how it changed me and my life. As far as I've seen on the social media, some people are focusing on all the good parts, like they're showing it so perfectly, like a dream life and everything is perfect, there are no issues. You watch them and you feel like that is the only thing that you have to do, and if you move abroad, everything is gonna figure themselves out and everything's gonna be just perfect. In this video, I will try to be so objective, and I wrote down everything, like all the good and the bad parts of moving abroad and the effects that it had on me. I think it's not black or white, it's kind of like gray, because it has so many good things but has also so many bad things, so that you can like just see and decide for yourself. While winning something, you're gonna be losing other things, and what you win should worth what you're losing. Okay, so why I moved abroad. So I grew up into a very huge family. I'm born and bred from Istanbul, and ever since I can even remember, like I always wanted to move abroad. There wasn't any specific country, but I always felt like I don't fit in and I need some space, and whatever I do was different than what I want. I felt like the place, the country, and the people that I am surrounded with were not open-minded enough for me to grow and have the life that I want. I felt like I was living the life of someone else and trying to fit in to a society that doesn't really match with my personality, like real personality, I mean. Especially during university, I was so sure, and I decided which country I want to live in, and I came up that Italy would be the best option for me. And then I just tried to focus on how I get there, what I should do, and I focused on this. I've studied, I worked, I put so much effort on my portfolio. I'm an interior designer, by the way, and now I'm a business owner in Italy, and I'm living the life I always dreamed of having. But when I'm saying this, you're probably thinking of a perfect life. I accomplished my dreams and there are no any challenges. Well, that is not true. To come to this point, which it's not even the destination, I think I'm still on my journey and there are still so many things to accomplish. Sorry, there is a very big queen bee right now. To come, oh shit. Okay, I had to change my spot because there was a really huge queen bee like this. I just couldn't. So I wrote down all the things, all the good and the bad. So I want to start from the good ones, because why not? Discovering yourself. What I mean by this. When I was living in my home country, I noticed that I was living a life that what people expected me to be. I never had alone time with myself. I would never have the time to know who I really am. And so moving abroad has led me to discover myself by being alone. I'm gonna be honest, at first times it was so difficult because I noticed that I was so used to being around people. So I find myself in complete loneliness, and being alone was really difficult as someone who never experienced of being alone. I was even like feeling nervous when I had to order something, if I had to, deal with my residence permit, trying to ask something to someone if I have a question in my mind. So at first it was so difficult, and I realized that I never had to make friends in my life before. I noticed that I already had my circle, I already had people around me, so I didn't have to put any effort on this. And moving abroad means that I had a complete start over, so I had to put all the effort. Throughout this period I felt alone, but in the end I learned to make peace with that. And the second thing is improving languages. So when you're living in your home country, you don't have to learn any other language. It's something that I see also in Italy. Most of the people that I met, like 90% of them, do not even speak in English. Like they just speak Italian and that's it. And they're not ashamed to say that. They're so proud of it. Like they're like, I live in Italy, why do I have to learn another language? So that's not my case. I was just trying to learn Italian after I decided moving to Italy, because because I noticed that I'm gonna need to work to provide for my life in there, and I knew that it would be so difficult to find a job only speaking in English. That's why I started learning Italian, and that way I kind of met my husband because he was trying to practice English, so he was searching for people to practice his English with, and then we met. He helped me with Italian and I helped him with English, and then that's how we found each other. It's so crazy that like in Turkey we have a saying, one language is one person. It's like if I didn't speak English or if I wouldn't be learning Italian, I would have never met my husband. We wouldn't even be able to meet each other. We couldn't connect with each other. We couldn't have conversation. My husband and I wouldn't have made my international friends, which is another good thing that I wanted to add. I have too many international friends here. I have friends from Czechia. I have friends from Spain. I have friends from Canada. This is something I didn't have in my home country because I like I told you, I had my little cocoon. I really do appreciate this, discovering new places. Like first months of moving abroad is like the honeymoon phase of a relationship. Like it is, everything is so exciting. I remember that, you know, I was working from home and I was so excited to just go out and see more. I was taking picture of every small thing. Like in the streets, people were looking at me like, why are you taking picture of this? But for me, it was so interesting and it was different, which is something that I see also in my husband. Like when he comes to Turkey, in my neighborhood, my family do not live in the, you know, touristy, nice neighborhood of Istanbul. They live in the, you know, not very nice local neighborhood. And every time my husband come there, he's so fascinated and he's also taking pictures, and he says that that's interesting for him because even though I don't like it very much, for him, it's so nice and he likes seeing different things. Another thing is being more responsible. While I was living in my home country, I had so many people to rely on. First of all, I was living with my family, which is something so common in Turkey. I moved from Turkey when I was 25 years old, and until this day, I'm 27 years old now, just like most of my friends back in Turkey. All of them living with their parents. I have no friend from Turkey who just lives alone and take their own responsibility and has their own life unless they're married. And when I was in there, that was kind of something normal for me because that's what everyone was doing. But once I moved here, I'm in the northern Italy, it's something not so common. I never worked in my life until I graduated from university. I never lived alone. So when I moved here, I also started to learn how to handle my life, like financially and practically, you know, renting, taxes, all these things. So I noticed that in here, I've kind of grown up and I feel more responsible. I have way too much better self-esteem than I live in my home country. I trust myself because I know that when I set my mind into it, I can accomplish things. I did, and I'm proving myself every single day. Like even every small moment when I order something in Italian, it's a proof of myself that I'm able to do that. I've learned it, I've put in effort, and now I see the results. So that's it. If I were to stay in my home country, I think I would have never had the courage to create this channel because I am noticing now that I think is that I slowed down. This comes from moving from a metropolis to a small city. Actually, I noticed that in the past, I used to be so in hurry. I was living my life in such a hurry. Even my walk was so fast. I was walking so fastly. I was trying to improve. I was focusing on career ladders and having the perfect career, having the perfect relationship, get everything figured out when I was only 20 years old. Moving here, I noticed that people just are enjoying very small moments without thinking or planning about, 6 months later. They're like, life will figure itself out, just live the moment. And that at the first times were so hard for me because I was fast and I found them so slow. I was like, oh, come on, I'm getting mad and why everything takes so long. Which, in my home country, you order something and bam, bam, so fast. There is a really fast system. People are fast, everything's so fast and everything's so digital. But in here, it's still everything's so traditional on the paper, and you're ordering something, they are talking, chatting, and oh yeah, you have the coffee, right? Okay, I'm preparing and give it to you. And that at first months was so difficult, but now I'm used to it. Italy doesn't offer as good salary as the other European countries, but I think even the though the salaries are not so high, I think also the cost of living is not too crazy, and I think people are still able to have a decent and nice life with their salaries. That's just my opinion. Like, moving on to the bad things. First of all, as you may have guessed, being distant from family and former friendship. Family was the toughest part for me. I remember that first month that I moved here, especially in the first days and week, I used to cry every day missing my family, because we have such a connection with my family, and we are still doing FaceTimes every single day. I felt so guilty for leaving them behind, but on the other hand, I knew that I had another things that I wanted to do with my life, and that was my dream, and they had to understand this. So that was kind of difficult for me. And the other side is that friendships, because once you leave a country and move abroad, you're completely alone, because you don't have any friends there, and all of your friends back in your home country, they're gathering up together, they're posting on social media, they're doing things, and you're just watching them alone on your sofa. So that's kind of hurts in the first times. But I should say that the process is different for everyone. I know some friends that moved to Italy, and they immediately had this big friend circle, like in 1 week, 2 weeks there. It depends on what kind of person you are. Maybe I'm not that extrovert, which I thought I was, but moving here completely alone made me realize that I've kind of switched to more the introvert side. Maybe because I wasn't trusting myself with the language and everything, because I was used to always communicate my mother tongue. So that kind of led me, slow down my process of making friendships. Yeah, this is the first bad side. And the second side is your culture's food. But as a Turkish, even though Europe is full of kebab shops, they have no similarity, not even a little bit similarity of a Turkish cuisine. And Turkish cuisine is not just kebab. It's not something that we eat every day. There are other foods, and they just do not exist in Europe. So I kind of miss especially the Turkish breakfast. And then another thing is speaking your daily language. This is a flex. This is something that I miss sometimes, especially if I'm dealing with bureaucratic stuff. I have to translate and do all the things, put all the effort. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, please, I wish it would be my mother tongue so that I wouldn't have to struggle this much. And another bad thing is trying to create everything from scratch and getting out from your comfort zone every single day. It's kind of tough, I should say, because you have to get out from your comfort zone every single day, which is something so difficult for people even to just experience it once in a while, that you have to do it every day. Going out, stepping out from your comfort zone, it makes you more confident in yourself, but it's also sometimes draining. And another thing is the culture shocks. This is something more easier to get used to, I think. In the first times, of course, it's the toughest one. For example, the first times I moved here, it was the siesta hours. Everything, all the shops were closed in the middle of the day. And in Turkey, my dinner time was at 5. You cannot find anything in Italy, just close time. Dinner starts at 8 usually, and from 6 to 8 it's the aperitivo clock. Before they have dinner, they have this little snack and drink time, and then you have the dinner from 8 to 10. So yeah, this was kind of difficult to get used to. And also with your friendships and your relationships, there are so many different mindsets that you have to expand your mind to the mindset of the country that I live in, because every country has their own mindset. Whatever you're from, even if you're a European, for example, Switzerland and Italy are neighbors, but if you ask them, they have so different culture. That's the thing. I think that's all. I think you should just decide which one you can give up on and which one is more important to you to take this decision to move abroad. You can let me know your opinions in the comments. Would you take this risk? Do you think is it worth to create a new life and leaving all of your comfort zone and all the people that you have in your home country to create a new life? You think is it worth it? You can let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. The next video is gonna be a vlog, I promise. I wish you all the best.